were and they weren't throwing up at the end of every exercise like you've been there before. And anyway, their bodies really started to transform. And I'm talking like, they look really good in the mirror. They look really good when they're walking down the beach, and they look really great when they're on the court, So, but the bigger thing is like the programs that I developed for them, they didn't gas them out after like a year or 6 months or 8 weeks, for God's sakes, like most programs do. And so they didn't have to take 6 months off because like their knee was busted or their back hurt or something like that. Okay. So, and if you have that, I'm going to teach you how to fix those problems today too. Okay. So, because these were programs built for longevity, I want my guys, refereeing, and ladies as well, refereeing in their 70s if they want to referee in their 70s. Like I'm talking like feeling good and moving well. And so the programs were really built for sustainability and longevity, and they were also built around people's lives. Because the fact is, like, Tom Brady can spend his entire day exercising and doing, weird muscle pliability and mobility with his individual coach. But guess what? Like, you guys have jobs and families, and like, maybe you are married to a supermodel and maybe you're not, but either way, like, as well as I do, you don't have 16 hours a day to dedicate to your body. You might have like 30 minutes, or you might have 2 days per week where you can put in like 20 minutes, into it. And I'm going to build something around that for you. Okay. So I want to ask you, like, what would it be like to be able to look great? Like, I'm talking about the way, like the way you think that you should look, maybe when you were younger. And what would it be like to do it easier? And what would it be like to, perhaps be able to feel great and be able to eat the kind of food that you want to eat? Like, I know some people out there teaching this stuff, like trainers teaching this stuff here, like going like, here, man, like eat rice cakes or whatever, and like, do keto. But like, here's the thing, that's not me. Okay. I eat normal food, and like, so should you. Okay. And like, I'm going to go out tonight. It's Taco Tuesday. Like, I'm going to go have a beer or 2 or 3, and it's going to be okay. And you should be able to do that too if you want to, like, and to be able to have the whole thing built around your life and not the other way around. And like, just so you know, like, by the way, here's what I'm going to offer you guys today. Okay. Exclusive to this group is really simple. Okay. The last year has been crazy for me. I've gotten, a lot more in demand. I'm just going to tell you that right off the bat. I have 40 times more people coming to me now than I did the same time last year. Okay. But what I want to do for you guys is literally just give you my phone number today so we can kind of chat over the next few days, perhaps, on this stuff one-on-one, because you're going to learn a ton of information today. But the most important thing, and the reason why my program works so well, is because I can easily help tailor it to you specifically. Okay. So, but if you wait like 2 weeks, it's going to be a lot harder for me to get on the phone with you, but or text you back and forth. But if you and I get together while we're here, and you exclusive to this group, you text me, and as soon as we're done, we will be able to have a quick conversation. Over the next couple of days, we'll be able to schedule a call if you want to, and whether we work together formally or not, I'm going to be able to help you. Okay. So there's no obligation. Like, I'm just telling you, like, if you're the go-getter type, like of person, like I consider myself to be, who likes to kind of grab the bull by the horns. And if you're like, you know what, this is the year to get my game together. And this is the year where I'm going to step it up. And this is the year where I'm going to get better games, and I'm going to have a better schedule. And this is the year, like, I'm going to move up from where I'm at right now to where you want to be. Okay. If that's you, then let's get started working together now, because I guarantee you're going to look the way you want to look and feel the way you want to feel. Okay. So here's what that said, here's what I'm going to teach today. Okay. I'm going to teach you and you don't have to write these down yet. We're going to get into the slides here in a minute. But just give you an overview on some of this stuff. It's just, I want to get you guys thinking in the right way about this, so you can create the bodies you want and then keep it that way. So, first thing I'm going to teach are the 4 myths you've been led to believe about how to get in great shape. All right. Then I'm going to teach you 3 things that you need to do to get, or three things you need to do when you build a great fitness program. Okay, so 4 myths, and then three things you need to do, and we'll get into that in a second. And then I'm going to stick around for some questions at the end as well, so we'll have some time for that. So I'll take all the questions at the end, because I do have a ton of content that I'm just going to be flying through today. So grab a pen and write this stuff down. So what are the 4 myths? Okay. Before I get into the slides, just kind of an overview again. Myth number one, you need to work harder to look better. All right. Myth number 2, you need to have a sophisticated set of equipment in order to be successful. All right. That's totally a myth. Myth number 3, you need to, this one's kind of funny. Okay. But it's true. All right. So you need to eat nothing and do sit-ups all day. All right. That's a total myth. All right. Especially if you're trying to get 6-pack abs. And then myth number 4, you can do it successfully on your own. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about this, because this last part, the on your own part. Okay. Because look, you know as well as I do that, like, what your track record's been when you do it on your own, and you don't do it all the time. And when you're working with me, let me tell you this, like, when John Butler came to me looking for a transformation, do you think he was really consistent before? No. Okay. But he and I agreed on 3 days per week in the off season last year. It was his first season in the NBA. There was a pandemic going on, and he reached out to me, and we agreed on 3 days a week. All right. For the off season to get him in better shape. And you know what? He didn't miss a single workout for the entire off season. You know why? Because I was there, and, like, accountability, dude. Like, he knew I was there. I wasn't standing right next to him, but I was there, and I built him the thing, and I could see his numbers, and yeah, he had some questions that I answered for him along the way, to getting his results. But fundamentally, like, you and I both know, when you get a little bit of accountability and you get a good kick in the ass, that's how you're going to be successful. You guys, I'm assuming you guys all have mentors as basketball referees, and that's how you're going to be successful. So if you're somebody who's looking to do this on your own, there's a reason why you look the way you look, and there's a reason why you feel the way you feel. And if you're in this thing for the long haul and you want to feel great and look great, then you're going to get help. And look, it doesn't necessarily have to be me. I'm definitely not recommending you go down to, like, the local box gym, but you should at least be working with somebody who understands referees and their lifestyles. Okay. And we'll get more into that in the content. So overview of the 4 things that you need to do to create the perfect training program. You don't need to write these down yet. Again, we'll get to that. Number 1, you need to focus on strength. Okay, we'll get into that. Number 2, you need to focus on mobility. Actually, you might want to write these down now so we can get into it. And then number 3, you need to focus on your intake. Okay, and let me just tell you a little bit about intake now, because we were talking about the other thing. Now I just want to talk to you a little about meaning, like, nutrition. Okay, all right. Now listen, it's important to know, most trainers who will work with you give you a 30-day eating plan or a 2-month eating plan that you and I both know you're not going to do for the rest of your life. Okay. So let's be honest. Do you have a beer on Friday night, or 2 or 3? Guess what? If that's you, that's probably going to be, like, the way that you're going to do it, for the next few years. And that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, if that's what you like to do. But my point is, your intake should be built, like, around that. Okay. And even in the off season, in season versus off season, like, when you're working tons of games every week, when you're done, there aren't a lot of options for you, like, after, 11 p.m. You know what I mean? So, like, my point is, you need to think about this stuff in terms of your lifestyle and what you actually like. And that's why when I build your intake, it's got to be centered, like, around that stuff, and what's going to help you be consistent, and what's going to, get you from where you are to where you want to be. Like I like to say this, like, if your wife, like, cooks a certain meal every Friday night, I'm not going to tell you to not eat your wife's food, like, I'm not going to take things away from you, because the fact is, you have a life and a ton of other responsibilities. And if you and your wife like to go on a certain restaurant on Friday night. Great. I'm not going to like take you off of your favorite restaurant. Obviously, I'll recommend some things, but whatever I recommend has to be specific to you and your situation and your lifestyle. Okay. Otherwise, there's really no point in starting anything because you'll end up getting frustrated, and that's not what I want for you or any of my clients. And so like most trainers will make people frustrated, and that's not me. Okay. So back to the top. Okay. We'll get into the slides here. And we'll get back to the 4 myths. So let me just make sure I can share my screen real quickly. Here we go. Where is it? Boom. Share. And then we present. Boom. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see all that and it's not cut off. But if it is, I'm sorry. I made it super big so you guys could read it. Myth number 1. What's up?
Looks good.
Looks good? Great. Awesome. All right. So myth number 1, guys. You need to work. Let me move this thing out of the way because it's in my way. You need to work harder to look better. Okay. That is a total myth. All right. Here's the thing. Everyone coming into my program, for example, they all want the show, what I call the show, and the go. Okay. The show is obviously how you look, right? The go is how you actually perform and how you feel. All right. Now, the important thing is how you need to think about this in terms of your program is you need to be focusing on the go more than the show. Okay. A lot of times we're always thinking about, oh gosh, I need to lose this weight. I need to lose this weight. Okay. You need to have a goal. That's important. Yes. But fundamentally, you cannot have the look the part without the performance part. So what we need to train is the go more than the show. Because if you're just trying to train for the show, okay, that's like you got a leak in your kitchen faucet, and like water's coming out, and you're like taking a bucket and you're scooping the water out and throwing it out the window, but the water keeps coming. Okay, what I want to teach you how to do is how to actually fix the leak. Okay, so that you don't burn out. Okay, and when you focus on the go, that's going to allow you to do is the second part here. It's going to allow you to train less, 2-3 days a week. Okay. Not 5 or 6. All right. When you're going 5 or 6, that's you taking the bucket, trying to throw the water out of the kitchen with the leaky faucet. Okay. I want you to fix the leak right here and train smarter, not harder. Okay. Do not neglect recovery. That's another big aspect that people neglect. You need to sleep like 6 minimum hours a night. 8 or 9 is better. All right. And the reason for that is like, that's when your body secretes all the hormones it needs to secrete and does all the amazing recovery processes that you need in order to get better, right? In order to perform the go better the next time. Does that make sense? And the fourth part to this is, why do most people bail on fitness programs? Okay. I will tell you, it's because it gets too hard for them to do all the time. Okay. It gets really hard to take the bucket and every day and try to, get the water out of your kitchen from the leaky faucet. All right. That's not how I want you to do this stuff. All right. So most people bail on it because it's either too hard or, they lack some accountability there. But really the main thing is like people get burnt out and they get exhausted and then they hate it and they're like, gosh, it's never going to work. Okay. But it's because they're not focusing. They're training hard to look better instead of training smart. Okay. Now, so here's just some examples. All right. Just so you guys can see some of the success my clients. Okay. These people right here. All right. This is Gabby, this is Tayson, this is Kara. Kara's actually on the call today. All right. So this guy wanted to gain 10 pounds of muscle. All right. He did it in 8 weeks. And this is him training from home in the pandemic, by the way. And this was his goal, right? He wanted to do this. And we did it in 8 weeks, gained 10 pounds of muscle, and he trained 3 days a week from home. He did not have any sophisticated equipment or anything like that. We'll get into that myth too. We've got Kara over here, lost over 10 inches in 3 months. Hell yeah, Kara, good job. But guess what? Kara was training about 5-6 days a week doing the bucket water thing. And so what happened was we fixed her leak. Now, guess what? Boom, lost a bunch of inches. All right. And then we've got Gabby over here. I can't really remember this. Sorry about these pictures. I took them from my website. So if you want to go to, we can give you guys the website if you want to check it out a little bit later.
I just pulled these off of there just to give you guys some examples and tell some stories about like, yo, this is why this stuff works. Okay. And this is what can happen for you when you do this, when you do what I tell you to do. Okay. Today. All right. So myth number 2, I just touched on it a little bit. You needed a sophisticated set of equipment. Like I say, that guy Tayson was not using the gym at all. Okay. He had some weights at home. That was it. All right. So what do you need? All right. You do need, number 1, a specific goal or 2 in mind. All right. And then you need a plan to get from point A to point B. If you don't know where you're going, you can't go anywhere. And if you don't have a plan to get there or really nice GPS system, you're not going to get there. Okay. If you don't have the GPS system and you're really bad with directions, guess what? It's not going to happen for you. All right. It's going to take a really, really long time and you're going to be frustrated. And that's not what I want for you. All right. So number 3, be consistent with the plan. Yeah, that's huge, but how do we be consistent? Better is to not spend so much time. Let's be a little smarter with our time that we're putting in, because you guys are busy people, I know how it is. And so number 4, don't guess. All right. Guessing is not a plan. You guys aren't going to guess out on the court. Hopefully, Sean, they're not going to guess, right?
I hope not. That'll be a short career.
So look, you try to be a better referee. You're not going to guess out on the floor when you blow your whistle. And so the same thing goes for the time that you're putting into the gym or at home or whatever it is that you're doing to get the results that you're trying to get. You do need to have a plan, and it needs to work, and you need to follow it. All right. That is how you don't guess. All right. So that's myth number 2. Myth number 3, you need to do sit-ups all day and eat nothing. Okay. I love this one. Let me just tell you right now, I wouldn't recommend sit-ups to anybody ever. And we can talk off the cuff about that later. Especially if you got some back issues and stuff like that. It's just not a good idea. But here, the point is, the eat nothing part here is like totally a total myth. Okay. You want to get 6-pack abs way easier than ever before. You need to do these 4 things. You need to know your numbers. Okay. I'm going to get more into that later about what those numbers are. You're going to increase your resting metabolism. And really what I'm talking about here, guys, with the numbers thing is like your strength numbers. Okay. And we'll get more into, like, I already told you, strength is a big key here. This is important. You at least need to know some things. Otherwise, if you don't know, what are you doing? You're going to blow your whistle if you don't know? No. Okay. So, don't guess, right? So, and that's down here too. I don't know what, I might just put that in twice just because it's important. Increase your, number 2, increase your resting metabolism. This is a really fun one. All right. You might be wondering, what the heck is that? All right. So here's the deal. If you're sitting around, we're all sitting on Zoom right now. We're all pretty much sitting down. We all have a certain number of calories that we burn, okay, per minute. That number, okay, of calories that you burn per minute or per hour of you just sitting, watching Netflix or sleeping or whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. There is a number there. That number is dependent upon a few things. Okay. Now, I'm going to get into this, into the strength part, but basically the point is, in order to increase your resting metabolism, there are really only 3 ways to do it. Okay. And write these down. Okay. 3 ways to increase your resting metabolism. Number 1, this one, there's 3 ways for the women, 2 ways for the guys. Okay. And I'm sorry, ladies, unfortunately, just across the board, ladies have slightly slower metabolisms than men do. So ladies, we could just change you into a guy if you're into that, but I don't think any of you guys want to do that. So, so that one's out. All right. Way number 2 is you and I can jump in a time machine. Okay. We can jump in a time machine. We can go back to when you were 17. Okay. That'll increase your resting metabolism. All right. Now there's a 3rd way, and that 3rd way is, and we'll get more into detail later, but that 3rd way is literally, guys and gals, listen to me, get stronger. Okay. Why? And we're going to get into the why part there. Okay. And I know a lot of ladies and some guys even are apprehensive to the get stronger thing, but we're going to get into more of why you need to be doing that stuff. And a lot of people are apprehensive because they're like, I don't want to get bulkier, look like a bodybuilder. Let me just tell you, there's a way to do it where that doesn't happen. Okay. And then number 3, be consistent, obviously going back to that. And then number 4, don't guess, obviously going back to that. If what you're doing right now isn't working, you're obviously guessing. Okay. Don't do it. Get yourself a plan that works. Myth number 4, you can do it alone. Look, we touched on this already when I was like doing the intro to this talk, and I'm just gonna say accountability is key. I can tell you some stories about Derek Angenes here, police officer, D1 basketball referee, really great guy, good friend of mine now. He reached out to me, and here's what he says. Okay, look right here. Well, you can see at the beginning, my life before was pretty active. I would work out, same kind of deal, right? 5-6 days a week. I was staying in decent shape, seeing results. He wasn't seeing the results that he wanted, okay, because he was guessing, right? And I also was not tracking my numbers, okay? And we're talking about numbers. I'll tell you that a little bit. And so never really knew if he was making progress or not. He just didn't know, right? And so he immediately, this is the important part, accountability, right? Accountability is key. Give me accountability and structure and proof of improvement. Now I train 3 days a week. Most results I've seen in my life. My lower body is so much stronger than ever before, which will help prevent injury and longevity in both my careers. Police officer, dude's got to get up and go too sometimes and chase the bad guys. And then side note, he loves golf, and his yards on his, I don't know if you guys like to play, but he used to be hitting at 265, and now he's hitting it over here 315 to 325. So anyway, my point is this stuff works, and let's get into, those are the myths, okay? I hope you wrote them down. Let's get into the 4 things you need to do when you build a great fitness program, okay? Number 1, strength. Number 2, focus on mobility. Number 3, focus on intake around your lifestyle. Let's dive into those and write your questions down as you think of them as we go, okay? I know I'm just flying through this stuff, you guys, but thanks for hanging with me. So why focus on strength? Number 1, write this down. Getting stronger is the easiest, most efficient way to transform your body. Okay. We talked earlier about basal metabolic rate, your resting metabolic rate. It increases that resting metabolic rate. Now you might be wondering, well, David, how the heck does it do that? All right. Well, listen to me. When you have I already told you the only way to increase this was to get stronger, because fundamentally, the only thing that you can change in your body are your muscles and how they work and how strong they are. Okay. Fundamentally, you can do that. All right. And what happens when you do that is your muscles, the only thing that you can change that burn calories. You follow me? So if you're at a certain level of strength, you burn a certain number of calories per minute. If you are at all the time, by the way, 24/7, okay, and it stays the same. All right. Now, when you're stronger than you are now, you burn more calories per minute. Okay. So what that does is it, for one, allows people to be a lot more lenient on the nutrition end. Okay. And like when you get out of the game at 11 o'clock at night and there's only like a couple of options for you, like you're not going to feel so dang bad about it. And like, the guys too, who like can eat a burger. You go to the restaurant, you see like some dude who's like ripped and he's just like stuffing his face with fries and a burger. Why can he do that? Because he's for one, really, really strong. He's 2, why is his metabolism, because he's strong, is because his muscles are burning more calories at rest. Okay. It's not necessarily that he works out more than you do. It's not. Okay. It's just that he focuses on the go aspect and he makes those things better week by week. And so he gets better results in fewer workouts. Right. And so that's what I do for all my clients. All right. So, number 3, getting stronger makes you faster. Okay. Flat out, you guys got to get up and down the floor. And the faster you are, the more you're going to be seen as an athlete out there, the more your credibility goes up, all these other things that happen when you do this stuff right. Okay. Number 4, strength does what? It also reduces pain and promotes longevity. Okay. Because you become more resilient. All right. Like, listen, every time you only have so many miles on your legs. In order to extend those miles, you need to get stronger. In order to prevent some chronic pain, if you got pain in your knees and stuff like that, we'll get into the mobility thing in a second. But part of that is you need to get stronger. Okay. And the benefits come from the inside out. And I talked about the metabolism being a benefit, but there are so many other benefits to being stronger, because because you're going to be more resilient as a human being. And when you adapt in that sort of a way, good things happen and you just feel a lot better, and you can get results a lot quicker that way. Okay. So that's why you need to be focusing on strength. Onto mobility next. Why focus on mobility? Accidents and injuries happen because of a lack of mobility, period. And especially when it's coupled with a lack of strength. All right. So when you train for strength, you must also train for mobility. They are a cohesive unit. All right. Most plateaus, by the way, in the show aspect of how you look, because that's what everybody wants. Right. And I want to get you there too. But most plateaus in your show and your go are because of lack of mobility, actually, because a lack of mobility directly affects your ability to improve your go, right? And that's, I was been telling you already, like that's really where you should be focusing your attention. Fewer days a week is on your actual performance and getting better in a balanced way in terms of your performance, right? And with that comes the show. Okay, these athletes that you're refereeing, by the way, do you think that they're like going to the gym and being like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to like go walk around, figure it out? No, like they got a coach who's like, yo, do this, and like they get better each week, and then like their bodies transform, and then like they jump out of the gym and tomahawk dunk on people, and it's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that we need to get you under the squat rack and do 300-pound squats. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is we need to be, it depends on the person, right? Like if you need to work on mobility more than strength, then we fill a little bit more of that bucket. If you need to be working on, if you're one of those hypermobile people, hypermobile I call them, and you need to be, and you're focusing on, and you're not focusing on your strength, then we need to be focusing more there, So it depends on who you are and it all depends on what your goals are and what your trajectory is, where you're trying to go. That's really what the most important thing. And so that's why the go aspect is so important. Go comes also not just from strength, but also like how mobile are you? How fast are you? All those other things, right, are very, very important. So also to circle back, obviously mobility reduces pain and promotes longevity along with strength when they're a nice balanced unit. You feel me? So that's why we're focusing on mobility. And then finally, we'll have some more questions here. We're almost reaching the end here. So why focus on intake? Listen, your intake will help you get there faster. Whatever results that you're trying to get to, it'll help you get there faster and more efficiently. Okay. And the truth is you need to put wood on the fire or in the fire to make it burn. Okay. So you need to make adjustments along the way on the road to your results. And the reason why is because you are built fundamentally as a human being for adaptation. All right. Human evolution has been an amazing thing for thousands of years, and we are built for adaptation. So what does that mean? So, you hear it all the time, right? Like, and I hear it all the time, and you might say this yourself. Gosh, I only eat, 1,200 calories a day, and like, I can't lose weight. Well, guess what? Like, your body's adapted to the number of calories that you put in your body. Okay. So fundamentally, sometimes it depends on the individual, but sometimes it's, everyone says, you gotta move more and eat less to lose weight. Right. Okay. Well, at first that could be true in the beginning. Okay. But I already told you about the basal metabolic rate thing. So if you're getting stronger, all right, if you're getting stronger, there comes a point, maybe 4 or 5, 6 weeks into the program, where now your body's actually burning more calories at rest. And if you don't eat more, you're actually not going to put wood in the fire to make the metabolism ramp up even more. Does that make sense? So at the beginning, it's move sometimes, by the way, depending on who you are, but for most people, it's move more, eat less, but also add the get stronger part. Okay. And when you do that, what happens is your metabolism ramps up, and then it's move more, eat more sometimes. Okay. And sometimes it's move less, eat the same. Okay. So a lot of people get great results in my program just because we're focusing on getting the go aspect to improve. And what that does is ramp up their metabolism. Then they don't change anything on the nutrition end, and then they get great results. And that, by the way, that's one of the things that happened to Kara. We didn't really do any changes, did we, Kara, on the nutrition front at all? So, but it really depends on knowing, where you're at in terms of certain things, so that you can create a plan that works best for you. And I know you guys are probably gonna have tons of questions after this. So, and I know I'm flying through this stuff, but I hope you're taking good notes. Okay, so that's why focus on intake. And then this is my terrible, just to reiterate the correlation. This is my terrible graphic design skills, if you guys can't see how I drew this. So the correlation between strength and mobility, as that increases, pain, if you got like chronic pain, which a lot of referees complain about, by the way, referees are the only people that I know who think it's a great idea to run full speed and look backwards at the same time. Okay. Like, it's not fundamentally, your body doesn't want to do that. And so bad things can happen. So if you're not focusing on strength and mobility on that front, you're probably going to have some pain. You feel me? All right. So that's how that relationship works. I think we're pretty much there. Oh, just to kind of wrap it all up, just so that, I can give you one more story and one more example of one of my guys, John, before he started working with me, like, we're talking about the pain and the strength thing. Look, listen to what he says. Okay. My knees and my back hurt on a daily basis. My fitness routine was outdated, and the same sort of training I used while playing college basketball. Now, with my current routine, I consistently improve in athleticism while my programming continuously builds up my body, which I love. So show and the go, right? Got to do both. All right. Working with David has created a big shift in mindset. Okay. Now my life is great. And so basically he implemented all these things that we're talking about today, and the dude got great results. And like, this guy was getting into his first year in the league and reached out to me last year and, had some knee and back pain, man. You don't want to have that your first year in the league. And guess what? What is it now? Now it's gone, because he implemented this simple stuff and he got great results. And, that's really all I have for today. I know I've got maybe a couple of bonus slides here, but I'd rather just kind of open it up now, guys, for questions, and that way I can answer anything that you're thinking about. And then I'm going to go ahead and unshare my screen here. And I haven't been looking at the chat because we've just been rolling. So, like,
David,
yeah,
awesome job.
Thank you.
Job today of sharing information. You gave us really a lot to think about. I know everybody's written down notes and things of that nature. I wanted to let you know Bernard Clinton joined us also. He's one of the co-directors of the Mid-Atlantic
awesome
evaluation camp. So elevation camp, excuse me. So I wanted to welcome him, but I definitely like to open it up for questions. The one point that I was going to make also is you made mention of, why we need to do this. Each and every year, I always say, each and every year we're chasing kids that are 18 years old in Division I basketball. And every year we get older, but they are 18 years old. And so what we look at also is all of the Division I teams, I think men and women, all have a strength and conditioning coach that are working with these athletes, warming them up and getting them in an ongoing in-season, off-season program. And then as an official, we should be doing the same thing. I mean, that just makes perfect sense.
Yep. And the officials don't have subs, by the way.
No,
I know we're not like, dribbling in between defenders and tomahawk dunking on people, but the point is, like, you're still running and changing directions, and you still need to be doing these things, or else bad things happen.
We don't get paid for extra for overtime either.
That's right. That's right. And and the reason why I got into this business is and to work specifically with basketball referees is because fundamentally nobody cares about basketball referees except for other basketball referees. So I just want to let you know, guys, like, I care. By the way, I'll put my phone number in the chat just for text message. This is my coaching number. So like I look at it every day for my clients, and I'm just going to give it to you in case you have some other questions that you maybe want to talk about off the cuff here. So number for
And
that.
David, Kara put it in the chat.
Oh, she already did?
Yeah,
Oh,
she
great.
put it in there early. 619-436-1770.
Yep. 619-436-1770. Yeah. For anyone looking at the recording later, here's the point though. Like those of you who are on the call today, like, you know, we'll chat, you know, the next couple of days. Anyone who's on the recording, like, you know, maybe a little bit of time if you send that message, but I check those things every day. And if you have any questions about this, like that you want to talk more, you know, one-on-one about how to tailor these things, like, I think then just shoot me that line and we'll just have a conversation. So.
If anybody has any questions, you can raise your hand. You can use the emoji to raise your hand and let us know if you have a question, and you can come off of mute and ask your question. I think Mike Triplett is somebody
Mike,
that
dude,
has
I appreciate
used
that,
David
dude.
in the past, and maybe I can ask Mike to come off of mute and maybe give some comments as to some of his interaction with David. And if Mike, if you feel like it's appropriate, maybe share your challenge and how David helped you through that challenge.
Yeah, sure. Sorry for being late. I'm actually on vacation and I completely spaced out, and we're in the middle of a major storm and lost power.
Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, you too, definitely.
How's that injury though?
It's better. I actually I got the okay to start running full speed about 2.5 weeks ago.
Good.
And I've been doing some morning runs here on vacation, so it's holding up. I'm ready to go. But I think I reached out to David. I don't know if it was last year or maybe
it was about a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was about a year ago. Shortly after everything with COVID happened.
Yep.
I've seen him on Instagram. Some friends I know have used him. Kara, has done some work with him, and I was really interested in kind of fine tuning my off season, but also my pre and post game.
Yeah.
Physical fitness and my mental fitness. And he drew up a program that, I'm pissed that I got re-injured and wasn't able to finish it, because it really helped with my mobility, my flexibility. And one of the biggest things my doctor said was my psyche in getting myself psychologically over an injury. The physical part was faster than the psychological parts. And the things he had me doing were like specifically tailored to my body, my goals, everything. It was exactly what I needed. I still use, a lot of it today, even with my physical therapist. I switched out some of the stuff they were doing and incorporated that. And it's different. And the biggest thing is it's different than the cookie cutter stuff you find on, YouTube or other places where you can go just get a free workout or stretching routine.
Yeah.
It was tailored just to me. And even my wife, who's a yoga teacher, and I thought I was doing everything right with just her yoga classes, was like, yeah, hey, this is exactly what you need to do for your body, because I'm not Gumby. But I definitely recommend it to anyone that is looking to, just change up a little bit. And I think prepare themselves maybe a little bit more. It might be that missing piece besides staying in the book, watching film, eating right. I think it might be that missing piece for some people, because it definitely was for me. And I think had it not been for, my knees just breaking down, I think I would have been probably physically and mentally in the best shape I'd been in a long time. So definitely reach out to David and get going.
Well, dude, and you're going to bounce back, because now you know what you need to do to get back to where you were right before the injury. Like you know that stuff. And so that's really the big value there, and the big peace of mind aspect to this, to learning this stuff and making it a simple approach that's specific to you. And like you said it to yourself, Mike, and I over the past 3 years, like I've talked to over 1,000 referees, on the phone about what their problems are. And
fundamentally across the board, it's like you guys are typically not off by that much. Like it's like you're doing this right here. It's like you're doing this right here, and then you just need to. It's just like a little bit of a shift that you need to do to start seeing the results that you want, and making your life easier. That's really the biggest thing here, guys. Like, because that's why I said at the beginning of this whole talk, like everyone here, you know, has a different life and different responsibilities and we can only put so much energy into thinking about this stuff and implementing this stuff. And so I want you to do it in a way that fits you, you know, that's really the biggest thing. So
David, let's talk about that a little bit. So you had some interaction with Michael. He responded to an injury that he sustained. He reached out and you were able to build a program. There's some, we don't want people to wait until they have an injury to reach out to you. We want them to consider the value of reaching out to you, including this in their program as they prepare in the summertime, and then and as they prepare for the upcoming fall season. Maybe talk a little bit about what that interaction would look like. Somebody after tonight wants to reach out and text you and kind of get some feedback and everything. What does that conversation kind of look like?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really simple. You shoot me a text, you tell me your name. You say, you know, who you're with, you know, if you're on this call, because sometimes I get text messages onto that number from elsewhere. Just let me know where you're from. So that way I know I can put a face to the name and all that. And then what we're going to do is really just fundamentally talk about, for one, your situation, why you feel like, what do you feel like has been, big question is, what do you feel like has been stopping you from getting the results that you want right now? So we'll talk about that together just to kind of see if you're a good fit, and see if, you know, if I can really help you out and if we can help each other that way. And then that way, you know, there's no obligation. What we'll do, we'll schedule a call together. We'll hop on the phone. We'll just chat about, hey, if you are interested in working with me, like there's no pressure to sign up. It's really, the call is to figure out, hey, let's build this together. And if it's a great fit, it's a great fit. And if it isn't, it isn't. The point is, I want to still give you the tools and the direction that you need by the time we're done talking, you know, so that way you feel like you're getting a lot out of it. And so that's, you know, this is what I'm doing exclusive just to this group, just to thank you guys for having me come on. You know, like I said, I'm getting a lot more people than I was last year, just because referees like to talk to each other, is what I found. And like, it's been great and we're having a lot of fun. And so the point is, let's just have a conversation. We'll chit chat, maybe a couple of questions back and forth. And then I'll be able to know, with that conversation, you know, what is it that you really need help with? We'll hop on the phone and then we'll talk about those things together, because everything's very customizable. I have a ton of different options. And then we'll kind of go from there. All right. So, that's pretty much how the process works. Typically I have people fill out an application. But for you guys, like literally, like, you know, I get people who go to the website and fill out the application. That's one way to do it. You know, people do that. But I'd rather just kind of chat with you since we're talking today. And since this is a nice small group, like, you know, I just want to be able to help you so that you can, you know, stop worrying about this stuff, you know.
So David, they would just simply need to let you know when they text you, part of the Mid-Atlantic Elevation Camp virtual experience, had a couple questions that allow you to understand.
Yeah, just text me that and your name. Okay. So like, hey, saw you on the talk today with Mid-Atlantic officials, boom. And then text me your name, and then I'll text you back with some questions, and we'll just chat, man. It'll be super, like, there's nothing formal about it, man. Like, you know, I've been doing this for a while. We're having fun. We're getting great results, and I want to be able to help you. So let's just figure that out, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. So we have a question.
Sean, it's Derek Line. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask for the phone number again, because I didn't see it in the early when Kara.
I'll put it again. I'll put it again right here. It's 619 436 1770. Let's see which one. That's right. Well, all right. So, Derek, that
was me.
Oh, you did it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I sent it to everybody. It's just earlier
yourself.
In the chat, Derek. You got to look a little earlier. It's all right, bro. I'm here. I'm your wingman. Okay, I'm gonna get it done. Also, there's the website, because I know you guys like going to the website, refereeadvantage.com. I know you want to go in there, take a peek. I'm going to put that in there again so you guys can utilize that. We do have a question, David, from Fred. Fred wants to know, do you tailor your program based on the age of your client?
Oh, great question, Fred. Short answer, yes. Long answer, depends. Because here's the thing, like I work with my dad, he's 75, and like he golfs all the time, and like dude had quadruple bypass surgery when he was 55, and like he realized, that's actually one of the reasons I got so into fitness. And so he, I build him, his program is gonna be different than someone who's 35, right? So like, but the point is, there's people who are 60 who look like they're 85, and there's people who are 60 who look and feel like they're 45. Okay, so fundamentally everyone's different, so I would need to have that conversation as well. But short answer, generally speaking, absolutely, definitely gonna tailor it to the age of the basically, and tailor it to anybody who is where you're at right now. What you need to do now is what you need to do now, and what you need to do next week and the next week and the next week depends on what you need to do now, and so everything is going to meet you right where you're at and then take you to another level. And that's really kind of the secret sauce to the results of everything that we talked about today. Like the goal of the program is to give you more go, and when that happens, you get more show. it just happens. Okay, and like we can talk about the nutrition, we can talk about all those other things that are going to help you along the way, but fundamentally it's very, very simple. Okay, and consistency is really the biggest thing.
I like it. I like the opportunity to be able to visit with a professional that is a referee, that understands what we go through, that understands that sometimes the body breaks down during the season, and how to actively approach those specific situations, because we don't have athletic trainers. We don't have strength and conditioning coaches that we can check in with to say, hey, we have an ailment. Hey, something I tweaked. There's something that I need to address preseason, during the season. And it would be great to have somebody to be able to reach out to be able to say, hey, how can I attack this specific situation and everything? I know I personally had a problem with my calf and dehydration during a game. We were in a hot gym where there was, in the Virgin Islands and everything. And I almost made it to the end of the game and ran out of gas and was dehydrated and had a little slight tear and everything. And, my challenge is building that muscle back up and understanding how to take care of my body, respond to that, and, pay attention to detail. Yep. And I think we have all those, different things that happen to us, but having somebody that we can kind of reach out to be able to kind of go through some of that are definitely things that referees need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions out there from anybody that we talked about tonight? Talked about the go, talked about, accountability, responsibility. Those are all things that we look at as referees and everything. How strength plays an important part into understanding how we can kind of motivate and position ourselves to perform better. Performing better allows us to referee longer. I had a conversation with David today about that, being able to kind of put another series of years on your tenure to referee is very, very important, but paying attention to detail allows that to happen. I'm really, really intrigued about not having to work 5 or 6 days a week, but being efficient in the 2 to 3 day area. Especially we have a job, we have a family, we have other responsibilities, and to be able to get it in like that, David, being efficient, being smart, allows us to leverage those things we need to be able to create that consistency.
Yep, that's it, man. Yep, and that's in my experience, dude. Like I've said it 1,000 times. That's why a lot of people fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
We've all done it. We have all done it, man. Like, oh, I'm gonna wait till the last minute and I'm gonna, get it dialed in. Guess what? It's a great way to hurt yourself. It's a great way to hurt yourself. So, and then when you hurt yourself, dude, you're leaving money on the table. Like we were talking about earlier, like, you know, one of the reasons I got into refereeing was because of a guy named Dave Libby. And Dave Libby, you know, worked 8 Final Fours, by the way. And the I think it was a year or two after his last one that he worked a Final Four. You know, he quit because of his back pain, because he wasn't doing this stuff. You know, but you guys didn't know. They didn't know back then. You know, like, we've come a long way in 20 years, but like, he didn't know back then. And but so what did they do to train? They just ran. You know, they just ran. And like, you only got so many miles on your legs, dude. Like, you know, and especially if you're not focusing on you getting faster and stronger, you know, like, that's going to help your running better, and that's going to help you run for longer into it later. And then also, it's going to, if you're a young official, it's going to help you, you know, get faster and look better, you know, to move up as well. So it's like, it's a kind of silly, you know, that we don't focus more on this stuff in a smarter way. And, you know, had Dave Libby been doing this stuff, he probably would have extended his career by, who knows, 5-10 years, you know, because he wouldn't have blown out his back, because he would have been more resilient and stronger and all this stuff. And can you imagine? I don't know. Back then they were making like $800 a game. I don't know. Well, you guys are making a bunch more than that now, you know, like Division I, but like, you know, he still left a ton of money on the table, you know, because he didn't want to quit. But he had to, because he simply just couldn't run anymore. Yeah. You know, his body was just like, nope, that's it. We're done, you know? And you only got one of these vehicles, you know? This is your only vehicle that you get. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I don't want to, but I'm serious. Like, you know, anyway, any other questions, guys?
Well, David, we're running up on the hour. I appreciate you taking the time to kind of share this insightful information that really helps us build what we're trying to do as we are trying to prepare as referees and everything. We appreciate you taking time. Again, everybody, in the chat, you have David's cell phone number that he invites you to reach out to him to chat, if you will, about your specific situation. He'll provide you with, you know, a detailed, customized conversation that can help you just with map out what your day-to-day is. And then you're invited also to take a look at his website, refereeadvantage.com, to be able to look at the success stories and look at things more in detail. You know, here at the Mid-Atlantic, we're here to try to showcase and share information. And we just, David, greatly appreciate you taking time to share your insightful experience information on how we can help, you know, officials attack and kind of obtain their goals and objectives.
Thank you, Sean. It's been awesome. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we look forward to doing this again. David, I think it's an important topic, and it's one that I think I'd like to bring you back, maybe do something in the fall with you to continue sharing information that our officials and our community that can use. So I'd like to be able to do that. And, you know, from all of us at the Mid-Atlantic Evaluation Camp, we'd like to really say thank you for everybody that joined tonight. I personally, along with Bernard, like to thank you for taking time to spend with us tonight. But I'm going to wish everybody a good night, and we'll attack this and get after it again and continue sharing the information.
Rock on.